Our whole focus goes on making money and relationship, and those are the two areas where major stresses come down. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys one of the biggest realization of our own lives, like how we've gotten where we have gotten, meaning like how our physical health, mental health, emotional health, all of the health is actually ruined right now, and how we are all stressed out and finding a way out on dealing with the thoughts and emotions and all of it. We're just going to have a from our childhood till now reflection session for all of us, and you can reflect on your own life and then figure out where exactly we are and how to reverse it to have a very beautiful, healthy, happy physical health, mental health and emotional health, and then take on responsibilities happily. When I was a kid, I had a very specific schedule happening in my life, so I think we all had, right? Lunch time was set, the breakfast time was set, and getting up and coming down in the evening was actually set, and we had a full schedule ongoing, and sleeping time was completely regularized. We never missed our sleep, we never slept very late, and the morning we got up at the regular time. On top of it, we had extreme body movement because we used to walk. In the school, we'll have PT period, all of those things movement were there. And my school also had yoga, asana part of yoga, right? Yoga is not just about asana. I'll make a different video on that, which I got to know very recently, and it's been a game changer in my life. But yeah, just the asana part of yoga, a little bit of mantra chanting, a little bit of closing your eyes and meditating yourself, watching the breath. All of this we had in our school, and it was like amazing. Little did I know about the value of it back then. Now I'm realizing what a great school I studied in, and like how much it has like molded me now. This routine is very important, and my school timing was completely different. My school timing like used to start at 7 o'clock early in the morning, and my school gets over by 12:40 only. To get up at least 5:30 to be able to do all of this stuff, and my school was almost like 6 to 7 kilometers from my house, so it was quite far. So I need to be much early on time, and so have a regular schedule. And 12:40 I used to come back home, and from 7 o'clock till 7:40 we had this yoga session. All the students would just come down to the assembly. For 6th to 12th standard, this timing was like morning 7 to 12:40. First standard to 5th standard, the timing was like 1 o'clock till 5:20. At the age of 3 I joined school, I believe, so almost like 15 years of my life went on in such an amazing school. So we've inculcated that habit very young, getting up early in the morning. Around 7:15 to 7:30 we'll just do just a little bit of yoga and end up with shavasana, and then from 7:30 to 7:40 we will have this breathing exercise and chanting of Gayatri mantra. All of this in just 10 minutes, just a little bit of everything, and then only the actual subject starts. So it was amazing, early morning, waking up early on the fresh minds and very young kids. Inculcating all of these good habits is very important. Now that's exactly what we're struggling as adults, because most of us are not in touch with that. But luckily I got to know about all of these like 6 years ago, and I started doing all of this, and life has been completely game changer for it. So these basically what I feel like, when we think we're just becoming an adult, we just miss out on all of those things. So the minute we get into college, we think like, okay, we just got some newfound freedom, I can do anything and everything I want, and the schedule all gets completely mismatched, and getting up on time, and if somebody's in relationship and all of that, additional relationship problems starts happening. More the phone was involved, the more the WhatsApp and all of those things were involved. And I feel like when we just grow up, we kind of miss out on the schedule and everything, and we find new things. But actually life is not about subtracting anything, it's about adding everything. And if you're not ready to add on any other responsibility, we should not take on the responsibility but not subtract the important parts of a life. What I'm trying to say is, like, in LKG or first standard, we just taught about only numbers, right? Alphabets and numbers and nothing else. We just like well versed with numbers, and then only addition is introduced. And after addition, we just are taught subtraction also. And then we'll have problems which involves a little bit of addition and a little bit of subtraction. And once you're well versed at that, we'll move on to multiplication and then division. After all of this, the base of the foundation is completely set. And then as and when we grow, the complex of addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, everything combined together becomes a problem, and we need to solve. And the more we get into it, we'll have algebra, we'll have trigonometry, we'll have this, that, so many complicated stuff. But the basis is addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. So these four are very important. Like the same thing, food, sleep, exercise, time for self. These are very important. These are like the four pillars. Once some relationship or something happens, sleeping on time, talking too late at the night, or texting in the middle of the night, all of this like kind of hamper our routine big time. And those are like, the seeds that we are sowing for future health issues, future mental issues. Someday some breakup happens or some fight happens, unnecessary tension at very young age. For what? Just because one message is not received right, or somebody did not talk right, or whatever. All of these are just unnecessary complications. We're just getting onto it. And then after that, when we get into job, complete movement is going. At least in college, we need to walk through the classes, walk through the ground. Even if you're not playing much, at least going from parking to the college or coming back will have some movement and all of that. But in office, that is also completely gone. Everything is done by lift, everything is done by cab, and only tension. The movement also completely became null, and food is also completely hampered, sleep is completely hampered, and top of it, too many tensions around office tensions, deadline tensions, making money, promotion, this, that, colleague problems, doing that, politics, etc. On top of it, if the people around us is not good, if the relationship has get some issues or something like that, everything is complicated big time, and it all ends up in too much mental pressure. Now that's exactly what it is. Zero body movement, full on mental movement, and then mental health issues starts up because our physical health is completely gone for toss, and that goes automatically mental health comes. So when you just see, the office work is actually the replacement of 5 to 6 hours or 8 hours of school time we had. But the rest of everything, like sleeping on time, eating on time, movement, playing, taking time for self, all of those are necessary, but we just skip all of those things off. And then if somebody moves into marriage, they think like, okay, now everything the other partner is going to take care of it. That partner is going to be mine and he's going to make me happy. He's going to do all of these things. No, it is not going to happen. And then within a month or two or probably 3 months, you just start getting to know the real other persons. And then you'll be like, oh, this is an issue, that is an issue. We were imagining in our head. None of that turns out to be true, at least for most people. Or even if it turns out to be true, only for a few months it just lasts. Illusion, the mirage of happiness actually ended up in a real desert. Our life is kind of deserted, and then now we are like lonely, emotionally void, unfulfilled, frustration, lack of sleep, lack of energy, depression, sadness, etc. You just have to stop adding things. You cannot handle a relationship and sleep and food and movement and taking time for self separately. Let's not get into a relationship. Let's not get into a job where we cannot handle our movement as well as our food on time and sleep on time, and relationship as well as job, because job is just replacing 8 hours of school. That's it, nothing else. If that replacement is not happening, fine, that means we are not ready, we are not capable, we are not fit enough to do that. Let's work on that managing schedule. Then our whole focus goes on making money and relationship. Those are the two areas where major stresses come down, because relationship is completely opposite of what we expect, and job and making money is absolutely not easy. And without the base foundation of good rest, good food, good energy, sleep and calm and peace, everything is gone out of toss. On top of it, marriage happens. In the marriage also, if we are not taking care of our own self, we think the partner is going to do. Expectation starts, attachment starts, all of that problem starts. Now instead of adding more in our daily routine, we're just adding more in our mental pressure. And then if on top of this, if somebody opts in for kid, thinking that the baby is going to make everything up, it's going to give happiness. No, it doesn't give like that. Now that's additional response. Now everything is gone on toss. So it is not easy, and that responsibility is like a pretty much lifelong responsibility, at least 25 years. Even beyond that, it's actually a responsibility, and you just cannot cut it off in between, like, no, I cannot handle this anymore. So before getting on to adding on to additional responsibility, we need to make sure, like, are we capable of handling it? Just because everybody is doing, am I capable of doing it? First of all, if I'm not even able of taking care of myself in terms of my health, my peace, my mental emotions and my happiness, when I cannot even take care of my food timing and sleep timing and keeping my emotional state calm, what am I going to do by getting into a relationship? Unless until we take care of our physical health and mental health and emotional health separately on our own, by our own self, unless until we are well versed in that, we aren't supposed to get into a relationship with the other person. Because when our relationship with the self is not established, it's like really going and pricking ourselves with thorn. Now when the additional responsibility is not working out fine, getting onto a baby, it's like the biggest blunder anybody can get themselves into, and screw the young life that is coming up also. So this is basically the reason why our lives are actually screwed up and messed up big time. But wherever you are, you can again start from square one, jump on again. So see it whatever position you are in, realize this what we're doing. First, let's get the base foundation set, and then we can add on more floors to it. But when the foundation only is not set, it's really dumb idea to build more floors onto it, because when the foundation is weak, everything is going to collapse, and the collapsing is going to happen on our physical health, mental health, emotional health, on our own peace, and it's going to affect the other floors that we are building also. So let's be wise, let's be understanding, let's be reflective, and let's understand what is important, what is not important. At least reflect on it, ponder on it, see wherever you are and see what changes you can make little by little, slow by slow, because some people would have done everything and like messed up and like stuck at 40 years of age, and some are like 20 years age, we still have chances for recovering the mistakes, and some are like 30 stuck in between this and that. So it just depends. But before getting on to another responsibility, make sure the basic 4 pillars are set. Now without those things, physical health, mental health, emotional health, none of this is possible. And unless until these things are not fixed, spiritual health is like out of the question. What we need to do as a human form of life, and we are just going to miss out on all of that if the basics are only not set. And most of us are struggling to even have the basics set. Basics I mean by like physical health, emotional health, and mental health. If you've taken any responsibilities, if you can again start working on your sleep, food, movement, and taking time for self is actually going to help in whatever responsibilities you've taken on. It's going to help in bettering those things up, because this is the basic foundation, so we can work it on. It's going to be a little bit difficult, but it's not impossible.